What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Giants Guys. And guess what? I got Spartan Mike in the lab. And as promised, because I never want to let you folks down, in the lab with us today is two-time Super Bowl winner as a player, three-time Super Bowl winner as a coach, the one, the only, number 52, Pepper Johnson. How are you, my friend? But thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to have a little bit of fun because, again, it's not, I've had a lot of your former teammates on. None of them could say that they got 5 rings, not one of them. So you've got the leg up there. All right. So I'm going to start off with some softball stuff, Coach. And this is one that I can't figure out. Okay. You're born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, right? So you go to Ohio State.
Yes, sir.
But you go to Ohio State. How did you not become a Michigan State Spartan? How's that even possible?
Well, I was. I put it this way. I'm gonna do it like a Quentin Tarantino movie. I'm gonna hit you with the end and then come back at you.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't be here right now if I would have went to Michigan or Michigan State. The best thing for me was to get out and get away from Detroit and leave some stuff behind and separate myself from some things. I wasn't that bad of a kid, I can sit up here and I can say I didn't rob anybody or anything like that. Maybe a couple of department stores, but nothing
too bad.
Vicious.
Okay.
But nothing too bad. Nothing that, a couple of times when I did get caught, me and my friends did get caught. Well, they got caught. I never got caught. When they did get caught, the security guy said, what you have, go put it back. They put it back, and then they came out where I already had a pocket full of stuff.
Oh.
So,
but nothing vicious.
I don't think I would have been. Excuse me?
Nothing vicious.
Yeah, nothing vicious. I didn't rob anybody on the street corner, even though people was trying to rob us on the street corner. But that was Detroit. So I lived my whole childhood trying to figure out a way how to get away, how to move out of Detroit. And that's all you knew. So that's the reason why I played baseball, basketball, and football in high school. I was like, I have to get a scholarship some kind of way because my mother and father separated when I was 5, and the chances of her being able to afford a scholarship, afford tuition for me was like slim to none. So I always wanted to make it easy, on my mother. So that was and I even started off baseball first. Baseball was my first sport. And my brother, matter of fact, this was his strong advice of my career, of my life, is that I told it was I can get to a few of my stories, right? Yeah, I know Leonard told you this. I get into my stories. I go for a while. So we have a store, not exactly on my corner, but a few blocks away, 3 blocks away, but it's down the street, right? And I go in and I ask the guy, Casey, for a job. And he tells me I can sweep up the floor, clean up a little bit. And he will pay me 25 cents a week. Great. That's big time in the freaking 70s. Yeah. So now I was big at the given time with comic books. I like comic books. And Casey sold comic books. So after a couple of weeks, I decided to take it upon myself to steal where I eat. So I take a comic book. And matter of fact, he even paid me with comic books. I'm sorry, I said steal a comic book. I didn't steal a comic book. He actually sometimes paid me with a comic book. He'd give me 25 cents and a comic book. But at the counter, there was penny candy. So when he would go into the cash register, go give me 25 cents, I would take a couple of squirrels, now laters or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
The wine candy, right? Which was a terrible name for a kid's candy, but that's what it was. So he let this go on for a few weeks, and then he decided that he wanted to get me right. And he said, "Pepper, you know what? If I continue to let you steal from me, because it's no big deal. I know you steal it." And I was like, "What? Casey, no,
not me, right? Not me.
I'm not still, not me, And he was like, calm down. I know you take the candy out of here. He said, I've been working here for so long, X amount of years, whatever he told me. And he was like, I know when stuff get moved around. And I felt so bad. I felt so bad right there. So, but he went on to tell me a story. He said, if he let me steal now, he don't want to someday turn on his TV and turn on the news and see me on the news where either I'm in the street, he wouldn't expect this, and I was, 9 years old? Yeah, I was 9 years old at the given time. And he said, I want to see you shot dead in the streets, or someone, you're being arrested and, handcuffed. And I'm like, wait a minute, I knew that kid. He said, then I'm going to feel bad because I could have stopped you. And he said, you probably need to do something just to occupy your time. And so I walk home. Like I said, I'm feeling bad. And as soon as I get home, I see my brother, my older brother, and I tell him what just happened. So he said that I have the solution for it all. He put me on a baseball team. Well, he told me to go out for a baseball team because it was beginning of summer. He told me to go out for a baseball team, go try out for that. And I better not come home not on the team. So that meant big brother beating my bad. So I went out for the baseball team, made the baseball team, and I can honestly say that stopped, and that was the end of Pepper Johnson stealing.
Everybody makes mistakes.
And I got my lesson at an early age playing. Baseball has been my number one sport until I got drafted by those G-men. Yeah, that's when.
Well, wait a second.
So really, the whole way through, you played at Ohio. You played baseball at Ohio State then.
You played baseball at Ohio?
A little bit because I was. No, they wouldn't let me. Myself and my college roommate Keith Byers, both of us played baseball. Well, both of us played all three sports, and both of us asked the head coach, could we play baseball? He was like, you go out there, you go out for the baseball team, you lose your scholarship. That was
no questions.
I didn't need to hear anything else.
All right. Well, then I got to ask this question then. So Keith Byers is your roommate. I mean, and he's an Eagle, but I'm sure you guys are still boys, so that's cool.
That's my brother.
Yeah,
I just hung up talking to him right before.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
All right, so yep. I gotta tell you this then. This will give me some brownie points. So I live in South Jersey, about a half hour from Philadelphia. I used to work for CBS Sports, and we used to do all the broadcasting for the Eagles. So I've seen plenty of Byers. Byers. He's always been a good guy. I've only met him a couple times, but classy dude. Good guy, man. So that's pretty cool. You guys are roommates. All right. So here's my other question, and then I'll let Spartan go. So I checked. I wanted to make sure this was right because I had to look it up. So you wore at Ohio State, you wore number 98.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So did Lawrence Taylor. Is there any coincidence that you wore 98 because Taylor wore 98? Is there any connection there at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I wanted number 99, but I was so low. They promised me that too. They promised me that they was going to give me If I came to Ohio State, but I was so low on the totem pole with Ohio's linebackers that they gave it to another guy that was from the Columbus area.
Okay.
And they gave me 98. I didn't know until I to my locker, and I was like, wait a minute, doesn't say John. And and then I looked over and Mark Pfister had 99. That guy, hey man, that's how it is. I'm sorry, I have to finish with this. At Ohio State, the captains stood at the 50, right? And they looked at us, and we had to line up every 5 yards, linebacker. And where you were on the depth chart is where you lined up. So if I was kind of high on the depth chart, it would be the captains, Marcus Merritt, Glenn Cobb, and then I would be next, right? Facing those guys, right?
Sure.
Pepper Johnson was back with the goal post. I lined up for the stretches. I was back at the goal post. Keith was way up front in his line, but I was back at the goal post. But before the season, the second game of the season, I was in line 2.
All right.
Kind of like my story with Giants too. Started off with the Giants. I ended up playing more plays than Gary Reason in the Super Bowl.
I love the stories. That's why people get to know you a little bit better. Because
Yeah.
I was going to say you wore 98, Taylor wore 98, and I had to do the research on 1985 compared to 1986 because my next question is how you got to 52. But I was kind of thinking I might have answered it myself because there were so many linebackers on that squad. The only 2 numbers I could find that were open were 52 and 59. Those are the only 2 numbers. Now, I could be wrong, so it's your story. How'd you get to 52?
Again, this is the story of my life. I wanted 51 because I was the 51st player drafted.
Okay.
But Robbie Jones already had 51, and then Robbie, the comedian he is, he's going to tell me when I came up in there that I can buy the jersey off of it. Now, I don't have to tell you, I think Robbie wanted to charge me like 75 to 80% of my freaking salary.
Yeah.
At the given time, he wanted. I think he said like $50,000, $60,000, some mess like that.
Oh man!
I was like, got it. I didn't even ask him for it. I was comfortable with 52 because I wasn't really into numbers. I would never have been a numbers guy.
Well, the reason why I asked was we.
Go ahead, Craig.
Hold on, Spartan. I interviewed Carl Banks. I don't know, probably last year, and he told me this story. Pepper, he said he wore 54, at Michigan State.
Yep.
He shows up at the equipment manager to get a jersey, and there's Andy Hedden standing there. He says, and I'm quoting Carl here. He says, "Yo, homeboy, you want 54? It's yours. 30 grand, and it's yours." And Carl looks at the equipment manager and says, "Reach in the bag and give me whatever you got." And out 58 came. So very similar story. Somebody, there's a friend trying to sell you a number. Unbelievable.
Well, this is before we really became teammates.
For sure.
I would like to think that, because Robbie, I end up, I came in training camp, in mini camp on time, but training camp I was late. So I think after the rookie camp, that's when I end up seeing him, and Andy was nice compared to Robbie. I think Robbie tried to hit me for like 60 or 70 grand.
Damn.
I have that question though. Did anyone ever actually, because we've heard that story twice now where there was an offer, made, if you pay me this much, you get the jersey. Do you know of anyone that ever did that with the Giants back then that actually did pay a certain amount for the jersey?
Not that I know of. Not
For
that
sure.
I don't know. I mean, I knew of Banks because Carl was like my big brother.
Yeah.
Him and William Roberts. I had William Roberts because we were teammates at Ohio State. And Carl, I actually known Carl since I was in high school. I met him, going up to Michigan State for visiting. Yep. And he actually, told me that story. And I was like, well, Robbie, and I told him, Robbie was trying to rip me off, man, because Robbie didn't ask me for 30 grand. I wouldn't have gave him 30 grand either, but I don't even know why he asked to even sell it to me. I didn't even ask him anything. He just
we get along with Carl pretty good. He told us that story. We were, I don't know, it was just, it could, you don't, you hear those stories and you're like, is that even possible? Like, like somebody like you're in the building for like 5 minutes and somebody's already trying to pick your pocket because you're a second round draft pick, right? It's crazy. All right, Spartan, you got something for me?
Yeah. I got a question because we're leewaying into this.
I think that dumb theory.
Oh, you froze up for a second, Pepper. Hang on. I didn't hear what you said. Oh, no. He's all frozen.
Hold up. He can come back.
Yeah, maybe. He might come back, Pepper. You're all frozen right now. You got to get that USFL money to get you better internet connection.
No, I'm at the hotel. The hotel is crazy.
Oh,
wow.
That's why. Yeah, because you know why? The hotel never does anything the right way.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Spartan.
Yeah, no, I want to ask because we're on the subject now of 1986, and this is your rookie year. I mean, what was it like, first of all, getting drafted to a team that had an extremely well-established defense with a lot of talented players, and how did these defensive players, make you better if they did?
Well, they definitely made me better.
Yeah,
but that was one thing in my stories that was a blessing. The New York Giants was the first team I drafted by. Mm-hmm. And I thought draft, I thought I was going to Philadelphia with Keith.
Oh,
because Keith, back then it was on regular TV. They went to a commercial, and when we came back, they just said Johnson, Philadelphia picked Johnson, a linebacker. And, I know it's a popular last name, but Johnson for a linebacker, I wasn't even thinking of. My combine roommate was Alonzo Johnson.
Oh, Alonzo Johnson. Yeah. So Alonzo Johnson went to the Eagles.
I'm like,
damn. I'm missing I'm missing all your good stories.
That we were having dinner and all stuff like that.
Pepper, I'm missing this great story right now because I'm like, you just for the last 30 seconds we're completely frozen. I missed that whole story, man, about Alonzo Johnson. I missed the whole story. Damn it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was the draft. Am I back on now?
Yeah. It's you know what? I'll say this. Maybe the more the less you move around, the more it works. When you move a little bit because you're animated, which is cool, but sometimes when you move, it seems to dig out on you.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me see if I can stay froze. Can you hear it?
No, you can move a little. Crazy. You can move a little bit.
Okay, switch one day. All right. Hey, man. Don't y'all tell everybody this is the Sheraton Birmingham. with the Wi-Fi.
Jared, I'm going to Yelp right now.
Yeah, I know.
For
I'm going,
Wi-Fi, man.
exactly. I'm going to call a manager and be like, look, man, I got 10,000 people watching the show and I can't get an interview done. Help the poor man out already.
Yeah. And see, and you know, it makes it so bad. Around this time, all the video guys are coming in. Everybody is using the Wi-Fi because I promise you, I was just in a Zoom business call like maybe an hour ago, and we were fine.
Damn, just my luck. Well,
Yeah.
so what happens after? So Alonzo goes to Eagles, right? And as Spartan was saying, like you walk in with like, I mean, Banks and LT and Jim Burt and Harry Carson. And I mean, those were some ballers.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I've been at all of Carl Banks when I was in high school. It was that Hugh Green, Lawrence Taylor. Which one of those guys were the better? And I even told LT, he pushed me in the face. But like later, of course, I wouldn't dare say it to him as a rookie. But I had him even Steven, and then when LT got drafted by the Giants, that's what gave him the nod to me, right? And he mushed me in the head because I guess that was kind of a sensitive issue.
Yeah.
But now I get to play and I get to watch Harry Carson, his mannerism in the locker room and everything like that. I was like, this is awesome. This is great. And then they actually want to pay me to play football. You couldn't ask for more. So I was happy. The Giants was number one and the Raiders was number two. So when Philadelphia came up, the only thing I could like about it was that I get to play alongside of Keith again.
Yeah. I'm glad he didn't have to suffer through playing in Vet Stadium every single week. That was brutal.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Spartan. You go.
Yeah, no. So, all right. So when we get to 1986, the team was awesome. You won a Super Bowl your first year, man. How awesome was that? Because you're sitting there, what? You had to have been 22, 23 years old, and you just won a Super Bowl. How great was that your first year out?
Yeah, 21. I signed my contract on my birthday. Yeah, it was a ride, especially after Parcells, and I'm quite sure you guys got this story. Parcells got all the rookies in the room and told us he didn't need any of us. That they already went to the playoffs. We have the mindset. We already ready. So he said, imagine this train and it's already just chugging and it's moving and blowing out steam and everything. He said, y'all better find a way to get on.
Oh man.
And you did.
Yeah, so I was like, hey man, hopefully everybody is thinking like I'm thinking. I'm getting ready. I jumped trains when I was young, but the slow moving trains through the city. Parcells tried to make sure we understood that this train was moving.
Yeah.
And moving fast.
How was it playing for Bill? I mean, like, Parcells is a unique character. You hear a ton of stories about, him, getting LT all riled up about, who was the better, was it Pat Swilling or I can't remember who it was. That's right. Did you like playing for Parcells?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, it was perfect for me. Everybody likes to ask me about if he was really the motivator, like you heard about. And it's kind of a trick question for me because I didn't think I needed motivation.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at Parcells as being a motivator. I thought, when I sat in the room and he was giving his speeches and all that stuff like that, I felt like he was talking to everybody else. I'm already getting ready to try to do damage to this guy that's across from me. That was just my mindset. Until 90, when we got ready to go play San Francisco in the NFC Championship, And I'm quite sure you guys know that game.
Of course.
He started the week off, so it was that Monday, and he was addressing the team like he always does. Blase this, blase that. This is what we doing Wednesday. The Thursday practice is going to be like this. Blah 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 blah. And then at the end, when he started talking about the travel, going to San Francisco, when we're going to take off and all that, and he said everybody packed for 2 weeks because I don't plan on coming back. And I'm telling you that everybody, the little hair that I do have on my arms, stood up. If anybody red or gold would have just walked in that room right then, or I would have seen them after we left out of that meeting room, I would have hit them and knocked them into the lockers. I'm gonna tell you, that was the that was the time that he affected me the most as far as motivation. Yeah. And I'm telling you, anybody, if I'd have seen San Francisco Niners or something on somebody's car while I was driving home, I think I would have ran.
You just jump out. Yeah, jump out of the red light, just jump up and down on their hood.
A red gold car with gold trim or something. And you had such a good 1990 season that even if you weren't motivated by that speech, man, I still feel like you could have done any of that. You know, you were killing it that year.
Yes, so Parcells was great for me. Him and Coach Belichick, they both was great for me because they were those coaches that I've been looking for my entire career. Okay. Like my high school coach, he was known in Detroit, and he could talk trash to motivate you. He actually one time, if it's okay, you guys can bleep, you're gonna have to bleep this out.
No, do your thing, man. Do your thing.
He would do this routine. He actually did it once a year, where we would play at somebody else's field, and he would get us to stand around him and build a circle around him, and he would pee on the field. And he said, and he was, why did he think that was going to motivate us? I don't know.
You know why?
I was like, somebody need to show him to the bathroom, man.
You know what makes that story funnier than you could ever imagine is you played with guys like Lawrence Taylor. You have seen and heard some crazy shit. For you to tell us this story, like you got to scratch your head because you're like, okay, this guy has seen and heard and done a lot of things, but he is telling you about the coach being on the field because evidently that is definitely something that is unique when it comes to head coaches.
I'm trying to imagine being a 16-year-old just seeing that, like, what the heck is that what coach does around here? Like seeing that for the first time. That's hilarious, though. That's something else.
Exactly. I didn't like how the other guys was taking it. I looked away. I was like, man, he got to use it. But then I heard what he was saying. I thought he was trying to block us. He thought he was talking as he was pissing, talking about this is how much I care about the, so and so and so, and I'm like,
did you win a lot of games? Did you win a lot of games?
My first year, and then the rest is matter of fact, we even had a losing season, which was like one of 3 losing seasons I've ever had in my freaking.
I was about to say, there's no way you lost that much. Ohio State in the 80s, and then, the Giants from 86 to the early 90s. You didn't really lose that much at all.
And then you coached for a whole 12, 13
You didn't do a whole lot of losing in New England, man.
No. I'm just thinking, like, after a while, you would think that pissing on the field don't work.
I didn't lose it until I got to the Jets coaching. when I decided to go out there and coach with the Jets.
Yeah,
I think that's a Jets problem, right? The Jets is a dark cloud over the stadium, man. Nobody's winning.
And I've only got one Jet question, so I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so let me ask you about this. You win 2 Super Bowls in 7 years. Like that's crazy all by itself. In 93, Belichick leaves the Giants to go to the Browns as their head coach. You follow him. Was there a chance you were coming back to the Giants, or were you just following Bill regardless of him going? Like, was that like a conscious decision for you to follow Bill to the Browns, or were you fighting to stay maybe with the Giants?
Well, Bill leaves in 91, right after the 90 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Belichick. Yeah. And I don't go into 93. No, I might as well get direct, right to the point. It was one thing when Al Groh and those guys stayed around in 91, and those were a lot of familiar faces. We still tried to run the same concept of defense, but we were more disarray because of not just of our leader, but how it came about. And we didn't have that opportunity. I know I read, because after the first Super Bowl comes the strike year, and he was busy talking about strike, and you lost your focus. And then now we win again, and you can't come back with the same Bills and Belichick. Or was I a coach, and everything was kind of, it just didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same. So now, but it still was out. So we go 500. Now they come in and they bring in Brazil and Russ, and then to us that been 91 was the first time we were, I want to say we were number 7. We was either number 7 or 8 in scoring. In those times with Parcells and Belichick, we stayed in the top 5 in scoring. That's the only stat I care about. Football wise, and they come in and tell us everything, and we need to do it a different way. And I'm like, especially
after doing it the right way for so long.
God rest his soul. And wait a minute, and this is coming from somebody that's just been hired.
Just hired, yep. Oh, he's breaking up.
I didn't. You get excited, I start moving. Am I back on now?
Yeah, yeah. I was, man, like the stories are so good and I get sucked into them and then you freeze on me. I'm like, wait, no, wait. Wait. I'm like, all right, wait.
Start moving, man. I can't sit still. I
know. All right, so
I hear you.
Let me. All right, so let me get this right.
So Rod Russ, they come in and they try to tell us we can't run the defense that we've been having success with. We can't do that. Let's do something else. And I thought that was crazy.
Yeah. So, and I guess at some point when you have the success that you had, you would think that maybe they would put some credence into what you had done in the past, right?
No doubt. So it got to the point where, and I don't know if you guys know or heard about it or whatever, but I'm quite sure talking to some guys, especially Leonard, that when we played the Red Back in our game, we ran our own defense. I would look over at Rod and act like couldn't see him. I couldn't find him.
The coach is probably going crazy on his
and I act like I didn't see him, and we called defense, and we didn't give up a touchdown. We beat them like 8-7 or something like that, 35-7. And their only touchdown was Brian Mitchell running back a punt return or kickoff return. You can, wow. I don't know if you guys remember that, but
I remember
look that one up.
B. Mitchell was a good player. He was a great return guy. And if that was their only offense, whatever you were doing was working. Damn the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So we did it. DRC joined in, and he was also, or the lack of calls.
All right, Spartan, go ahead. Let's see. I mean, you know what? I'm definitely gonna have to bring Pepper back and get him in a different hotel. You know?
Yeah,
that's right. We'll pay for the hotel room and just move to the Marriott over or something like that. We got it.
I think if I leave out of here and get in my car, it might even be better.
Yeah, we'll put it this way,
guys. I'm gonna have to.
I'll try to cut it up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I got to go to a meeting anyway.
Hey, no worries.
How much time you got? You got 5 more minutes or no?
I got 5 minutes. Yep.
Okay. All right. So, Spartan, good. You go first. We'll see if we can get them in. And then Pepper, I'll have you back because we definitely might want to do some more stuff because I missed half your great stories.
Okay. Once again, if we're here, we have to just try to do it earlier.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead, Spartan.
If we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Pepper, I just want to ask about your coaching career real quick. Last year, you coached at the IMG Academy, right? Yeah. I know it was that whole Bishop Sycamore thing. I won't ask about that, but what I wanted to ask was, I knew that's some laughing matter. I was just telling Craig that earlier this week about that situation. You guys have a great program down there because now you're giving the kids not only the ability to play and focus on football entirely, but they're practicing against other D1 players. And when they get to the D1 level, it's going to be an easier transition than if they played at public school, only one against another D1 guy in the league, so on. Do you see more schools like the IMG Academy popping up in the near future? Because what they got going down there is something incredible.
Exactly. I was highly instructed by my publicist not to talk about IMG because we are writing a book.
Oh.
And I don't want to uncover
no problem
IMG before I uncover IMG.
All right. Well, I hope
writing the book.
Can we promote the book when you get it going?
Of course, we'll you guys can. You. Please do. But it's just IMG is not that. It's shiny on the outside, but it's kind of ugly. It's not that's the reason why I'm not there. Well, part of the reason why I'm not there. I got fired by a guy that just got his chest out. That let me not get into it. She's gonna call.
Yeah, we don't want to get you there. We don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah, sorry about the subject. I didn't think about that one.
Jackie all right, then will fight me, but I do see other schools or other areas doing that because they're allowing a lot of schools to recruit in their areas. Mm-hmm. So you get schools recruiting in their areas. It's just going to be a matter of time before more people start going out and recruiting at IMG all over the country.
Yeah.
All right. Here's my big question. I've been wanting to ask you this one for a while. I want to ask you about a certain player that you coached 2015, 2016. You're the defensive line coach for the Jets. And
yes.
under your tutelage, under your watch, Leonard Williams has Defensive Player of the Year and a Pro Bowl season. So look, he's a little hard to figure out. He seems like he's a little bit hard to unlock. He had a great 2020 season with the Giants. He got paid, so that kind of ruffles a lot of people's feathers, what kind of guy is he? And do you feel that maybe he's not the player he was under you because maybe it's a scheme thing? Like, maybe it's, the scheme holds him back because you had him for those 2 years and he crushed it, and then the Giants got him and he started a little slow, had a good 2020 last year. He got a lot of double teams. He still had 81 tackles, by the way. I thought 81 tackles for a D tackle / DN was great.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if scheme came into play, because I'm a huge fan of the kid. Like, I like him, and I think he plays hard every play. So I was just kind of wondering if you can give us a little insight to Leonard Williams.
Now, you just threw me an alley-oop to have the Giants me as a coach. If I said, Leonard need me, he needs Pepper, but no, Leonard's biggest problem is Leonard is such an unselfish person.
Okay.
And he's an unselfish player. He won't leave that defensive line to try to make a play in the backfield like that. It doesn't shock me that you told me that he had 81 tackles, because he's going to protect his other teammates.
Sure.
Before he goes out there and trying to make a play. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah, he's not selfish.
Exactly. There's lots of times when defensive linemen can just penetrate and try to make a play. But Leonard is that guy that if he penetrate and try to make a play, I'm not sure if the person that's behind me or the person that's next to me make it, when he make this running back cut back, is he going to make the tackle? So Leonard, because I watch now and see it's me sounding like a father. I would watch the Giant games, but I only saw Leonard Williams. Like, I don't know what everybody else did. I was just watching him. And then when they would go on offense, I would go wash dishes or go, cook or something until they go back on defense. And then I watch Leonard again. And if Leonard was off the field, which he rarely is, I had no interest. But he is, and I called him and I told him, and he was like, giving me mess a little bit, like, yes, coach. And I was like, dude, it's just, every now and then you have to let go. And you really need to go and make some plays, because I know you have it in you. But you just see he comes two gap and scheme. It's kind of hard for you to uncut even it so much. A guy that's used to playing to be a little bit, I guess they accept being selfish a little bit. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's, if you think about, I think football is the ultimate team sport.
Yep, definitely.
And if you tell everybody that you're responsible for one gap and one gap only, then that makes it not sport. It's
too robotic.
You take it and then next. If you say it's a two, and you don't have to do it the two gap and way. You don't have to line up all the defensive linemen and even number techniques to get it done, but you can make those guys responsible. And once you make the defensive line responsible, I think then you slow down the run a lot more that way. Because once again, a lot of people get away. Let me do my football history before I go. But a lot of people forget about once upon a time when they invented, the defensive lineman used to block for the linebackers the same way offensive linemen block for the running back. And you get a guy like a Ray Lewis that he said one of those Baltimore Raven deals where he went from a 4-man line to a 3-man line and then back to a 4-man line, and he was so happy that he gets to dissect the offense and then run and go make plays and that hold up people and blocking people like that anymore. But the defensive line should take gambles and they should take a shot every now and then when you know what the play is.
I just like him as a player. I think he gets a lot of static in New York unfairly. But I also thought maybe the Patrick Graham scheme where they rush 2, they rush 3, they rush 4, they rush 5, they rush 2. Like, I don't know if it was a flow thing, a scheme thing, like, because he plays with leverage. And like you said, he's never a selfish player. He's always in the right place, but after his breakout year in 2020, he was getting double teamed a lot, but he still came up with 81 tackles. I told the guy on Twitter today, I'm like, you can't complain about a defensive tackle who has 81 tackles. I'm like, so make your mind up. Either he's a defensive end getting double teamed, or he's an overachieving defensive tackle with 81 yards. You can't have it both ways. And some people don't get that.
Yeah.
And I would say slow down some of those conversations. I know you're technically doing this, you're in the media, but that guy is probably looking for stats. And the type of person Leonard Williams is he's rarely going to impress you with his stats. Like he's going to be that guy that the coach is sitting in the meeting room and just that play, that tackle because of what Leonard did.
Yeah, he's the unsung hero.
That's the type of guy. That's what he is more is valuable to the team. Exactly. They'd rather be on the side that with the 4-man line. They'd rather be on the side that Leonard is on as opposed to I shouldn't say that because I really don't know their defensive line that well, but I do know Leonard, and I know that the same thing what you said, that he comes to play and he ties them up, he laces them up. But what I say he's guilty of is just not being selfish and not trying to make plays. And he understands the whole concept of the defense and has no problem watching his teammate jump up and down because of something that he did or caused.
No, I like that. I appreciate it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a quick speed round. It's just 10 quick questions. They're like one answer, and then I'm going to let you go. And then I'm going to hit you back with another day that we can get you on here, because I missed 2 really good stories. I want you to play back for me. And thank you, by the way, for hanging out with us. All right. What's better, a sack or an interception?
Interception.
Ooh, I didn't
How about
think
this one?
I know. The stadium you most hated to play in.
Unbelievable. It don't exist.
Really? Okay.
Wow. Who's the craziest teammate you ever had? Was it LT?
Crazy? What do we mean by crazy?
Just that guy that's
when they get pissed, when they get really in the dome,
Patterson.
they're the scariest guy to be around, I guess.
The scariest guy to be around. Well, that might be Mark Bavaro.
Really?
Oh, okay. I can see that. I can see that.
Why? Because he's quiet and
Yeah,
scary,
Mark.
right?
Yes, when you could say a joke and like it was myself, it was Maurice Carthon, and it was Mark Bavaro, and literally Mark talk. If he had something to say to me, he would say it to Maurice instead of saying it to me. And then when Maurice would get up and move somewhere or whatever, it like I didn't exist. That just no longer exists. But just like Robbie, that we was talking about earlier, I could call Bavaro now and and chuck it up, and we could laugh and tell stories and catch up and do the same thing with Robbie Jones. That's the teammates.
All right, best place for a post-game meal. Where's your favorite spot?
My house.
Really? Okay.
My house. Yeah, I know.
Who's
Yeah, because like when I played with the Giants, it was a lot of times when my mother and them came to town, and they would cook up something or have something
oh
brewing
so
before.
your mom would come and cook for all the players?
Oh no! You know what? Did the guy? Anybody tell you? Leonard should definitely tell you about how I cook Thanksgiving dinner. I cook Thanksgiving dinner every year for all the single guys that was on the team.
Wow.
And I can't be getting Leonard in trouble now, but Leonard used to creep over there to my house and grab a plate and take it home with him or eat there before he leave. Now, some of the, well, let me not get into what Carl Banks was talking about. He was joking. He always was talking about the freaking turkey wasn't done, but we stuck the turkey with the fork and it still started screaming. But no, I cook myself. So
Yeah, all right. So best place to eat a post-game meal is at Pepper Johnson's house. All right.
yeah.
Turf or grass?
Grass.
The hardest back you ever had to tackle?
Walter Payton.
I can't show it to you, but next time I will. I got a framed Walter Payton jersey on my wall in the back.
Nice.
Love sweetness. Go ahead, Spartan.
What was who was the best all-around athlete you ever played with?
This is going to be crazy.
All right.
You guys said 10 quick questions. These questions is I have to elaborate on. But Tom Tupa.
Tom Tupa?
Uh-huh.
Tom Tupa. Okay. Have I seen LT dunk the ball backwards and what I know he can do out on the football field? I've been the teammate of Barry Sanders, and Barry is every bit of 5'5". And did I see him stand still and just maybe took a little cradle step back and jump up and dunk a basketball? Yes. And again, the amazing stuff that he have done out on the football field. I've seen Reggie White grab Keith Jackson and just straight off the ground and just lift him up over his head, just straight off the ground, like he was a freaking 3-year-old or something like that, and then dropped him, simulating, wrestling and acting and throwing him on the ground and blah, 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 blah. And knowing what he does out on the football field.
But Tom Tupa?
Tom Tupa. Tom Tupa is pound for pound. One of the best athletes I ever seen.
So the reason
that dude is catching alley-oops. He's catching alley-oops dunking. Look, this is how I always start off. Okay, first of all, not too many people had the pro career, actually making it into the NFL and being a freaking punter and a quarterback in the league, and started, at both. And, not people can say that, first and foremost. And to that capacity, where he won ball games and still punted the ball inside the 5. This kid is catching alley-oops, dunking the ball. This kid is, I only seen him play softball. I haven't seen him play baseball, but he was telling me about the like JC on.
Wait,
but
you just stole my thunder.
He's bowling 175, 200. He hits the golf ball. He was, the last time I played with him, he may have been like a 3-handed.
Wow.
Was when we came to rats, we go to the pool. The dude is taking money. He never pitched horseshoes. I got him out there. I said, I finally got him in something that he don't know, and I'm gonna kill him in shoes. He set up that he watched. First game he did, but before the first, a couple of ringers.
Yep.
I'm willing to argue anybody with that.
You
that
stole
he
my
goes out
thunder.
there, he plays tennis.
You totally.
He played for years too. He played for like 17 years in the pros.
You stole my thunder, though,
Yeah.
Coach. You stole my thunder because I heard Michael Strahan said the best athlete he ever played with was Jason Sehorn, because Jason Sehorn could do anything. He could dunk. He could hit a golf ball 400 yards. He could hit a fastball at 90 miles an hour. He could throw that's just what you brought up Sehorn. That's what Strahan said, that Sehorn was the best all-around athlete he ever played with.
Exactly. But Sehorn just played corner.
No, he played some safety. He played some safety.
Oh, come on now. That's not the same thing, though, man.
He just
that's
played
all.
the same.
That's true. That's true. But
right, so
I here's thought about that.
All right, here's the last three. The last three is they make a movie about your life. Who plays you?
And my son.
All right,
okay.
That works. That works. By the way, Spartan, just so you know, in Ohio State history, there's only been 3 father-son captains. Pepper and his son, both captains at Ohio State. 1 of 3. I forget what the one was, but Kirk Herbstreit and his dad were one.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and then
they
Pepper
got the Davidsons, but it's 5 of them. It's 5 of them. Yeah,
there's 5 now.
Okay. 5
Okay.
of us. Yeah, it's 5 of us. Yeah.
All right.
It's got to be such a proud stat and accomplishment, though. Father-son duo being captains.
Oh man! Hey, the first time I signed autographs with my son next to me.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't tell me anything. That was a beautiful thing.
All right, last 2. Hardest to scheme against, a dynamic thrower or a running QB?
A dynamic thrower.
Okay, this is the hard one.
I would like to say passer. You got me to say thrower.
My bad. Sorry.
I would like
that was my bad. All right, this one's gonna be hard. And whatever you choose, it's you can own it.
And you can pick the later series. It's okay.
Yeah, I won't think any differently you, depending on which one you pick. Which is your favorite Super Bowl ring?
Oh, it is. I have a perfect answer for that because I've been asked that before. They're like my kids. Can't choose one of them.
Come on, not one?
Cannot
that's
choose.
That's you've always given, man. Hey.
All right, so
yeah.
All right, wait, hang on. If you have to wear one out, I'm assuming like for certain occasions, maybe you put one on. What's your go-to? How about that?
I don't put one on because I have 2 from New York. So when I'm in New York, I wear both of those rings. When I'm in New York, New Jersey, I'm around Giants. If I'm in New England, then I wear those 3.
All right.
Man, your hands got to get so heavy when you got all of them on at once, but it's got to be such a badass feeling because there's very few people that can have 5 rings on their hand, man. You earn it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't put them all on together unless I'm, trying to show somebody, that I have all 5, and trust me, then I tuck them away and go put them back in the safe. But I know you tried to get me with that question.
No.
They're like
I didn't want to
kids.
I didn't want to get you. I just always like to hear about, like, when we asked like David Deal, he said like, the 2007 Super Bowl was his first, so it meant a lot more. So he kind of tends to like that one. So it was a nice story. But we interviewed Kevin Booth. Oh, great interview. He said he really didn't participate in the 2007 Super Bowl like he did in the 2011 Super Bowl. So he had an affiliation or a certain feeling towards 2011 because he actually was a starter. So I was just curious. All right. So listen, but
it's the whole, like, to me, the whole season makes the ring.
Yeah.
And the ring is just capping of the whole season. So whatever transpired during that season, and like what I was saying about the 86, about us growing, and Belichick told me, Pep, if you continue to do well like you're doing on the special teams and practice hard like you're doing on the show team, you're going to play more. He did not lie to me. I played more as the season progressed. Yes, 90, like Spartan said, I had a phenomenal year. I thought another year, that's a whole nother story, but that I had two of them, but it just wasn't, mentioned in the same manner. But that just capped off that year. And it made everything just huge for me, because I really started to think that my Giant days were over, because of the holdout was so bitter in 89, and it seemed like I wore out my welcome. But to me, I thought I made sense. But knowing what I know now, making sense don't make sense. I needed to just go ahead and go with the flow, and I could have ended the madness a long time ago. But you live and learn, and I have a George Young story. Can I leave you guys with a George Young story?
Bring it. Yep, bring it.
Okay, let me give you my George Young story. Okay, so I was in Jersey. I know they knew I was in Jersey, because Parcells got so many spies in East Rutherford, where I lived at. So I went home. I went back to Detroit, and I was kind of mad at the whole contract deal, and couldn't really work out like I wanted to work out, and so I went back home. All right. George told my agent that, supposedly told my agent that we had a contract. They had a contract worked out, and this was what I agreed that I'd take it. It still wasn't the money that I wanted, but okay. When I get there, I get into the office. I walk in Giant Stadium. George set down the contract that I totally is that the old contract that been on tape. That I said, wait a minute, this is the contract. This is like for a special teams only guy. I am not just a special teams guy. I think I've made my point that I improved every year. This is what you asked me, George. I said, I'm not signing that. And so he called my agent, put him on the speaker, and I listened to my agent cry and whine. And I felt so embarrassed that George got through talking to him. I fired him, said, I'm doing my own contract. I did my own contract from that point on, from 89 to the rest of my career. I did my own, because not knowing what these guys be talking about when you're not around, told George that, and I'm just going to go back and fly back to Detroit. He said, and now back then, supposedly the offices and everything was in New York. But I told George, I said, hey, if you want me to sign that thing, I'm going to tell Parcells, not one down will I play defense. I'm only going to play special teams. I don't care what they say. I don't care how much y'all want to fine me, whatever. I am not going to play one down of defense this season unless y'all go ahead and trade me. George said, okay. I grabbed the pen. Pen was almost to the paper. And that's when he said, hold on. I said, man, I don't want any more problem. Y'all want to just pay me like this? And that's what you got to go all the way to New York. This is the contract he has. I would say like 5 minutes later, he came in with another contract. Oh, by the way, between those 5 minutes, Parcells came in and was trying to tell me how he don't know what's going on, but he hoped that I get this stuff resolved and I don't have to go back to Detroit. Yeah. George walked in and Parcells left out, and he had another contract in which that was the contract that I ended up signing. And that contract is the one that I felt like my days with the New York Giants was, I didn't think they was going to let me play 90. I really didn't think I was going to be a Giant in 1990.
And that contract was for how many years?
I made more money. It was only a 2-year contract. So it was 89 and it was 90. And I made more money in my incentives in 1990 than I did in my contract, for my salary.
Damn.
Thank God the Giants came to their senses on that one.
Yeah.
They didn't.
And I mean,
that would have been a huge
loss.
loss.
Might can do that now, but
I don't even know what.
Parcells tried to trade me.
Yeah, what?
The draft day.
Parcells
tried to trade me draft day. 1990, before the 90.
For who? What were they going to trade you for? We didn't have any other linebackers that were good as you.
Yeah.
It's the first you guys know of that. Yeah.
Damn, I'm like,
it was a guy. Don't make me name names. You know what? Let me put it like this because I got to go.
He froze up.
All going to be in the book.
All right. The book. Okay. Okay. How about this?
It's all going to be in the book.
When's the book coming out?
Because we want to promote this for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that it comes out in September when the season starts up. But we got to do a little work in order to get it.
Two. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. Here's the thing. 1, can I get you back because I missed half your good stories, and 2, when you come back, can we talk about the book? Like you'll have more details on the book.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir, to both. Yes and yes.
Spartan, you stay on. You're listening to another episode of the Giants Guys. I apologize. We're gonna get him back because he's got good stories and he's animated. All right. He's got another place to go. We got some Wi-Fi. Call that hotel up and tell them they got crappy Wi-Fi. Pepper Johnson, thanks for hanging out with us, my friend. I promise I'm gonna I'll edit this tomorrow, get it up the best I can, but I'm gonna call you back in a couple of weeks to try to get you back on.
All right, boss.
All right, hey, good luck with the new gig, man. Go USFL. Yep. All right, Pepper.
Thank you.
All right. You there, Spartan?
Oh, I'm here, man.
So that was cool. We missed a lot of really good stories.
We missed a little bit of juice, but here's the one thing. He had so much energy with the stories that he was telling that even though they were kind of phasing out, man, it's like you're picking up the details, you can follow along. And those are some really cool things that he was telling us. Yeah.
So folks, I'm still recording here. I'm going to chop it up, edit it up, see what I can do tomorrow. Cause there's a lot of stuff that I missed on those stories, but some really cool stuff is like, knowing the fact that Mark Bavaro was like one of the scariest teammates he had, or the fact that, they tried to trade him on draft day, or that they wouldn't give him a decent contract. And then right at the last moment, George Young, got it done. Just a lot of really good things. Great things about Leonard Williams, by the way. Love the fact that he talks about how he could be a superstar, but chooses to be, just the anchor to make other people look good. Like just something that you don't hear about, Yeah. You agree?
I would have to agree with that, man. A lot of cool insights from his end.
Yeah, we got to get him back so we can get some of those stories. But I really thought it was kind of neat saying, look, Leonard Williams is like, okay, don't hate him because he got paid, but he's not a selfish player. He could be a superstar, but he'd rather make sure he does his job instead of leaving it to someone else, hoping they'll pick up the slack.
And also, I think that kind of picks up something from Pepper's side that a lot of fans won't see, right? Because we're looking for those stats, we're looking for those numbers, we're looking for those big plays.
Yep.
And then Pepper comes in and says, hey, actually, he is doing his job here, but it's tough for a fan to pick up on certain things because coaches know what the players are supposed to be doing out there. Fans, we're looking for the numbers, and there is a bit of a difference in what the coaches are seeing out of Leonard Williams as opposed to, what the fans feel like he should be doing.
Also, too, when you're losing 10 years of losing, and then you get a glimpse of a potential superstar, you start kind of projecting, right? Everyone's like, he's going to have this, he's going to have that. We need that. So a lot of times, you're stuck in kind of wishing this guy was a superstar when he really isn't designed to be the superstar. He's kind of setting up the superstar, but there really isn't one. You know what I mean? Like, so, he's not being a selfish player, but there's really no one to jump into the spotlight.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, I appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of the Giants Guys. I'm going to try to chop this up for you guys. It might be a little hard to listen to, but he's got a ton of good things to say. He's now coaching in the USFL, and you heard it here. He's got a book coming out. So we're going to talk to you guys soon, and we're out.